One of the first meals I had was polenta, which is basically just like, I think it's just called cornmeal. And I ended up really liking it, but the first time I had it, it was cold, and it had like this Parmesan cheese on it, and it was just like, the texture was really bad, and it tasted like good ones. When I was branch president, it was the end of the year, and for the end of the year, they have a big party, and there was only like 200 pesos left in the ward budget, which was like $50. So we couldn't go like get a big fancy dinner. So what we ended up doing was we went and we bought a sheep, and we just gave it to the branch, and they skinned it, and that's what we ate for the branch party. So the way that you say cool in Argentina is like capo or copado. Like, to say something is copado means that it's really cool. But if you say capado, that means castrated. So you can kind of do the math there. Like when you clap at a house and somebody doesn't come out, a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, my mom said she's not here," or something like that if it's a little kid. So once me and my companion got rejected door after door after door, and we clapped, and this kid came out and said, "My mom said she's not here." And we were just tired, so we just decided to kind of have fun with it. Because obviously it was a cultural thing. They didn't want to come out and offend us to our faces. So we'd say to the kid, "Okay, well, can you go ask your mom if she's ever heard of the Mormons?" And he'd run, and then he'd come back and he'd say, "No, she said she's never heard of them." And we'd say, "Well, ask her what she's doing on Sunday." And he'd run back in and say, "Well, oh, she's not busy on Sunday." And we'd say, "Okay, well, ask her if she wants to come to church with us." And he'd run, and it was just funny having like a little messenger boy. I don't know. I learned my whole mission every day. I learned something great, but what I really think that my big takeaway was that relationships are the most important thing that you can have. Every time you meet a person, that's a new door that's opening, whether it be a door for their benefit, for your personal benefit, and in a missionary especially, an opportunity to share the gospel. But it's definitely 100% about the people that you meet, and you're meeting them for a reason. You're called to that mission for a reason, and every person you meet is a child of God, and you are meeting them for a reason. There's something that you can share that no one else can. Same vein, I'd say that the best skill that I gained was just people skills, because everyone ticks a little differently, and as a missionary, it's really important to know what makes somebody tick, because that's how you're going to reach them. So I'd say the best skill I learned was being able to gauge right off the bat the best way to come through to someone, whether it be through a joke or through offering to help. But I definitely learned how to gauge really quickly the best way to break through to someone. Study the scriptures. As simple as it may sound, my whole life I went through the scriptures studying through the lens of how can I apply this to me. And if I could go back and prepare for my mission again, it would be study through the lens of how does this apply to helping somebody live the gospel, in a general sense, because all my problems were really specific. Oh, I want to ask this girl out and I'm scared or whatever, isn't a problem that people worry about. That's just me. So focus on others when you're doing your scripture study, and that'll be a skill that you'll use every day of your mission. I got married just over a year and a half after I got home, and that was bar none the best decision I ever made. Because it's just getting a companion that you're really into. She helps me. As time goes on after the mission, the spirituality can fade away if you're not feeding the flame. And I had roommates that were mission companions that we weren't reading the scriptures together and we weren't going to the temple together. But my wife and I, we know that we're in this for the long term, and she's helped keep me on track more than anything that I could do on my own. Oh, Boca. And here's the thing. People are going to tell you to go with River Plate, but that's always the wrong decision.